Hi everyone, welcome back to Creatively Crafted Life. This is Melanie and I'm bringing you a different angle in my craft room today. So what you are seeing is the very top shelf of my bookshelves, and I have a bunch of decorative items in here, just things that I like or that I enjoy. I have some fake plants, I have a picture, I've got some cubes with some photos of flowers that I've taken, some wooden flowers that I've painted, you know, some little tchotchke things, the words, a thing to add cards on, and I got this bowl that I need to figure out what to do. Again, some more stuff in the background. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a reorg here, see if I can find a way to use this bowl. This was one of my grandmother's punch bowls, so I thought it would be kind of cool to fit that in here somehow. And then once that's done, we're going to tackle the last two pockets on my bookshelves, namely this area here, and then the area way down in the bottom corner. So let's get started. Okay, so I just jostled things around a little bit. It is very cluttery, I realize that, and I'm okay with it. I like trying to keep most things streamlined elsewhere, sort of, although to someone who's really minimalist, I probably have way too much stuff. But I like having a bunch of colorful inspiration up there to look at, and that's what I've got going on. So I managed to fit the bowl. I put the little bunny on top. It's looking a little sparse in that area behind him, so I may have to see if I can come up with something to tuck in. But for now, that will do. I'm okay with it, and let's move on to the next thing. Okay, so these are all the books that I had on that top shelf. Basically what I have in here are mostly coloring books. I am not a huge colorer, but I do like to color every now and then. And I like variety because sometimes I like detailed, sometimes not so much. Now this is actually more like a sketchbook, and I thought I could use this for mixed media. So I'm going to move this over to my infamous mixed media stash of stuff for now, and so it encourages me to use that. I have here some Gorgeous Girls stuff, and I should just make the cards and be done with them. So I'm going to pull that out. I have some Bristol paper, and I think I have most of this stored in my cabinet, which we haven't gone through yet, so I'm going to move that over there. These here are folders, and I use these for making mini albums. So I think I'm going to put this in the same spot that I'm putting the Bristol paper. That'll hold. This is a coloring sheet, and I'm not too terribly inspired with this, so we're going to get rid of that. These were from the Artist Loft. Again, just coloring sheets, designs, patterns, etc. I think I will hold on to those. Same with these ones. This is a book that a friend of mine gave me on doodling. It's quite nice. I'm going to hold on to that. This one here, again, another coloring book. Sometimes these are nice to take with me when I travel. I just take this and some pencil crayons or markers, and it keeps me busy in the evenings. Oh look, I did take these with me one time. So these were going to go with my card starts box. Let's see what we got. Started, not finished. Story of my life. Okay, so that's what's there. This one was started. You know what? I don't think I'm going to finish this, so let's just get rid of that. We'll recycle it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these down a couple shelves, if they'll fit, where I keep my coloring supplies and whatever else was there. I had a little blue shelf and I had some little white boxes. I'm going to move those to the top shelf. This last thing that I have here is my extra large Misty. This is the 12 by 12, and I would love to see if I can fit this in my little cube that I have next to my desk. If it fits, I will keep it down there. If it doesn't, it's going to go back up, or I'm going to go with this stuff here. So let me give that a try, and we'll move that over, and then we'll tackle the last section. Okay, so I did not move the books or the Misty. They're all on the top shelf. I just needed the height, so that's where it has to live. That's the way it is, and it's okay. So anyways, the last thing I want to deal with are these 3 binders. So I have a binder here that I call tools, and it's basically all my instructions for the different things that I have, like all the different tools. I have a bunch of the embossing folder samples here. I don't think I have all of them, to be honest, and I don't know if I need to keep those. So I need to go through this, see what's worth keeping, what's not worth keeping, and maybe even digitize it so that I don't have paper copies, maybe. I don't know. This is my sewing machine. Again, more, you know, things, how to use kind of stuff. So that's what all of this is. This binder here has no description. This is my, oh, I know what this is. Okay, so it's got my Copic class in here from Sandy Allnuck, and then it's got all sorts of ideas from magazines, etc. So this is a whole other project in and of itself. And basically what I want to do is translate these into either take notes so I don't have to keep all of it, or translate these into actual ideas. So that's what's in here. And I'll need to go through that and find out what I'm still interested in versus not. And this album here is all my stuff related to moving to the US. And it's got all the documentation and stuff, which I want to keep, but I think I would like to put it in a different binder. And then I've got a bunch of page protectors and stuff here. So I'm going to need a second book anyways for my die cut ephemera stash stickers. So this will be perfect. I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to have to see if I can find a solution for this. Maybe a small binder. And we'll go through this, or I'll go through this and the other one, and I'll let you know what I decide on. Okay, so I did a really quick run through on my binders, and this one I'm gonna call this kind of like my instructions how to manual kind of binder, and it's very full, and there's probably some stuff in here that I can go through and eliminate, but I want to spend a little more time on it, and right now it's not the time for that. But anyways, I just want to show you what I put in here so that you have an idea of what I'm storing or going to use this for. So this first section here is all on coloring. So it's tips on, you know, Copic coloring, alcohol marker coloring, coloring in general. And I've got my class from Sandy Allnuck, plus some articles that I had punched out of magazines. Then I have what I'm calling photography and digital editing. So these are all different tips and tricks, and again, this one for sure I need to go through and find out what's relevant, and I'm sure I can summarize some of this into note form so that it doesn't take up so much space. And then I've got what I'm calling folds and binding. So this would be any type of specialty fold or binding for a scrapbook, like what do you call it, mini scrapbooks, that kind of thing. So that's what I'm calling in here. And then I've got what I'm calling 3D and templates. So these would be special projects I want to try. What will likely happen is once I do these, you know, make these projects once myself, I probably will end up, you know, removing these from the book, I think. Then I've got some cross-stitch patterns that I pulled out of magazines. So I do want to hold on to those. And then I've got what I'm calling dies and embossing. So this is for any dies or embossing folders that have special instructions on them. So I've got like how to use letterpress, how to use the shaker and mover dies, how to put the tree together, you know, that kind of thing. So that's what that is. And then I've got other tools. So anything that I have with instructions on other tools I have in my craft room. And then the very last section is manuals. Okay, so that is that binder. And then the second binder, I'll show you here in just a second, is significantly less full, and that has techniques and card ideas or layout ideas. So I've got a bunch of techniques here that I want to try and do, and then I've got some scrapbook pages or card ideas. So this is again one of those ones that I just want to go through and either make something with these and move on, or document these in a different way. So I want to show you kind of the model that I want to use for techniques. So this is a 6x6 album that I started a long time ago, and what I have in here is a sample of a technique and then a very short description of how to do the technique. And so I've got a few items in here already. I would like to continue and finish this book, if possible, with ideas from in here. I'm sure there's more than will fit, but then we'll just start another album. Similarly, I've done with the creative chemistry class, but I used these little binder covers from Tim Holtz, and what I did in this case is the sample is a tag, and I included the instructions on the other side. So that's another alternative if you're looking for a similar idea. But I do like the idea of having an example and some very succinct instructions, as opposed to, you know, a whole article on it, right? I just want to see what the steps are and an example of what it looks like. So I think over time I will transfer these over. If you're interested in seeing some of these techniques in action, leave a comment below. Let me know if that's something you're interested in, and I will be sure to do some videos on them. A lot of these are basic techniques. They've been around for a long time. They're not groundbreaking or anything, but sometimes it's good to revisit things that have gone by the wayside and reinvent them or bring them back, because they're, you know, some people haven't tried them, right? So that's what that is. And then anything that is a layout or a card design, I think the idea will be try and use it as inspiration or move on. Okay, so this binder is not very full. My goal will be maybe in the next year or so to totally eliminate this. We'll see how I do. Okay, so that is it for my bookshelves. I think I've tackled everything on them now. I'm very happy. I have to admit I'm running out of steam and I'm maybe 2/3 of the way done. Maybe, not quite. So it does feel good to have something that is complete and finished. So right now I'm not sure what it is I'm going to be working on next, so you'll have to stay tuned. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell button if you want to be notified of when I do post videos, so that you don't miss anything when I decide what my next installment is going to be. Until next time, happy crafting.